Yeah, I've been doing plumbing a long time.
Yeah, very long.
Well, yeah, like I said, 45 years. Like you guys weren't even thought of by that time.
So where all have you plumbed at? You plumbed in Salt Lake, right? St. George.
I've done. I started in California. I hate to admit, but I left there before it became a bad thing to leave California.
Hater.
And then was up in Salt Lake, and then went down to Cedar for a while, then back up to Salt Lake, and
So
then
you
down
built
here to St.
Utah.
George.
You basically built Utah.
Repaired what other plumbers screwed up.
Nice.
Is what I did.
Nice.
Hey, that's what I used to say when I used to frame homes. Every day, someone would call me, "Hey, what are you up to?" Just building America, one house at a time. You just plumbed America, so it's good. You know, you went from we're just out here fixing all your guys' mess up from back in the day, so it's a good time.
Yeah, but back in the day, we did real plumbing. It was copper, metal.
Didn't have no ProPress.
threading. Yeah, you didn't have the ProPress you have now. You didn't have the PEX pipes. Every tool was old and ancient.
See, he's like me though, where he talked about like old heads, you know, wanting like with like the growth of plumbing, you know, the technology coming out. Like we love it, but at the same time, it's like, oh man, like we want to still plumb and not just be robots out there. But
Well, I used to think that when I ran into old guys that were plumbers, I used to thank them all the time for getting, well, I shouldn't say it, but getting the price up because they had the lead and oakum. I mean, it would take them weeks to do plumbing because you had to cut metal pipe, you had to melt lead and put in it, and it was horrible. I've done it too, so I'm not.
So you're saying the price of plumbing was cheaper before, and you're thanking them?
No, they took so long to do it that they were expensive because it took so long that they got the rights to pass to copper, to plastic, to, you know, you got the PVC coming out. You could run copper lines instead and PEX lines now. And, they came up more ways to avoid paying the plumber for his, 6 months of work. And now we're down to a week to build a house,
Yeah.
So
Why do you think plumbers have such a negative context to them then? Or why are they viewed, I don't want to say negatively, but I know growing up, it was like the last thing you wanted to do was be a plumber.
because we make good jokes about us.
It's easy to pick on.
It's the same with like any profession. I mean, the lawyers, ambulance chasers. Well, if you don't have somebody contacting you right after an accident, you're going to get screwed, right?
Yeah, sure.
So is it a bad thing? No, but jokes are good for plumbers and lawyers.
what I hate the most is like everyone that hits me up, they're like, "Hey man, you're a plumber, right? Do you just play in poop all day?" No, I do not. Not every day. Very minimal. We're not. I mean, we drain clean, yes, but we don't have the wording. We're like drain cleaners, So it's like we don't get hit with those calls as much. But I'm like, no, we just fix a lot of water heaters.
Yeah.
Yeah, water heaters and leaks. We love those. Keep me away from the sewer. But we'll go and do it.
I had a customer ask me once, we'll just say there was poop everywhere. And he's like, well, just get in there and fix it. He goes, that's your job. And I looked at him, I go, yes, it is. And I will be glad to do that for a certain amount of money. It's like, no, I don't love playing in poop. But if you have that much, I mean, you do have to charge more for it because it's bacteria, it's disease, it's, you're putting your life at risk.
That's why they call it black gold.
Yeah.
Well, you were saying we repair water heaters, water lines mostly here because of hard water.
Yeah. Yep. A lot of it is the hard water. I mean, it's age and there's a lot of variables, but we do in St. George, we have crazy hard water, So that's the nice thing too about having Mike here today is him being plumbing in California and Salt Lake and everything. He could see the difference in what water quality is. Cause out here we see it like, I went back to a house that I did when I worked for a different company, right? I went back to their house and I did a water main for them like 3 years ago or something like that. And within those 3 years, there's already like calcium buildup on one of the couplings I did coming into the wall. And I was like, man, it's only been 3 years and there's already like, we already have hard water showing signs. Like, that's insane to me. But, you know, the problem is they're not, you don't soften the water before it comes in. So everything after the softener is taken care of, but that water main coming into the house is just already getting beat up pretty quick. So
what is hard water and how do you measure it?
Hard water is just what's in it. You've got certain chemicals left and right. I mean, there's the calcium. There's in some areas you've got
Like cyanide.
yeah.
Right,
I mean,
yeah.
it's everything. It doesn't all get removed with a softener. Softener removes a certain amount of things, and everything it removes is what are all the chemicals that they consider hard water that make the calcium and the buildup. So it's several different things that are in it that.
So our water is like working together to fight us,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah. So if you had your hard water set up and you were looking at it online, and you know, if you look up what it does, the sodium that exchanges for it is designed for that part of it to get that out, which is what causes the problems.
So like my house, I have a ton of the white stuff all over my sinks and my fridge and basically anything water touches. That's what the hard water is, or that's the result of hard water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the calcium buildup.
you know, I was looking up something the other day, and you know, we're here as plumbers, but I was always taught through my master plumber that it was measured in parts per million, that hard water like was, but I was actually looking it up, and it's actually measured using grains per gallon or milligrams per liter, as calcium carbonate. Man, I don't know why I butchered that,
You're a plumber, not
yeah,
an English teacher.
right? I'm like, dude, that's brutal. But we, like it says, water with more than 7 gallons or grains per gallon is considered hard. Southern Utah sits about 18 to 25 grains per gallon. But I was reading that like a couple months ago, right? And I was like, you know what? Why was I taught the other way? I was always taught it was parts per million, but I was doing a lot of research, you know, and it was actually measured the other way. So I always, for the longest, I was always telling people, it's 22 parts per million, but it's actually a whole different process.
So what does that mean? Like, because I came from California, right? And I didn't know anything about plumbing then. But coming to St. George, I constantly hear that our water is hard, like harder than anywhere, which also isn't true. I mean, we have really hard water, but where do you think we rank in the country for hard water? And why is that important to the people that live here?
Oh, me?
Yeah, you, baby. Looking at you to answer that, master plumber.
Okay. So hard water nationally, you can look up a map and see it, and you'll see that almost everywhere that's near mountains has hard water, which I always thought it would be the other way, because if you're down in the valley, the water comes down and picks up more and more and more and comes down in. But like if you were to go to certain parts of Oklahoma, they have soft water. Nobody uses softener because they are in under 5. And we usually say go off the hardness scale, like you say, and the hardness scale goes from 0 to 13. And
wait, you said we're at 18?
Yeah, we're at 18 to 22.
The
some
scale,
areas, some are like 25 here, depending on what part of Southern Utah you're in. You go up to 25, and then you got well water. That's a whole different ball game too with hardness. Some
So
are
it's
brutal.
1 to 13 is what's measured, but
everything past 13 is just very hard. And the only reason you need the number is to set up your softener on how hard it is. But the scale only goes to 13. And actually, it really only goes to like 11, because at 11, it says very hard. 11 to 13 is very hard. And everything past that is very hard. So the numbers are really low compared to what we have in St. George.